In this lesson, we're going to look again at multiplying out brackets to solve equations. In this case, it's slightly harder with a negative x in front of the brackets. So, as before, you need to multiply by the value in front of the brackets first, before doing any equation solving. So I'm going to look at this bit here, and I have to take into account I've got a negative x on the front. So, we rewrite the x squared down as normal, and then you have take away, and x times x is x squared, so it's take away x squared here. Then we've got a negative x times 1, which is subtract x. So negative x times x, negative x squared, and negative x times 1, negative x, and that comes to 8. So we've got x squared take away x squared, so that's quite handy. This will cancel down to 0 if you like, so that bit goes to nothing. And what we're left with, a common mistake here is we're left with negative x, not positive x, but negative x. It's really important you write that down. And to finish it off, if we're saying negative x equals 8, that means that x is negative 8. Negative negative 8 equals 8. The easiest thing to do is just switch the sign over to the other side. If negative x equals 8, then x equals negative 8. If negative x equals 2, x would equal negative 2. Okay, let's look at another one like that. So we have x squared take away x minus 2, close bracket squared, plus 14 equals 0. Again, we have to be very careful here with this negative. Now what I would advise you to do is actually multiply the brackets out first. Multiply these two brackets here. So I'm going to leave this bit alone, and leave the x squared take away, and I'm going to just multiply x minus 2 by x minus 2. Again, I'm just going to concentrate on this and leave the takeaway at the start. So, x times x makes x squared. X times minus 2 is minus 2x. So I'm concentrating at the moment on this idea here, just as before. X times x and x times minus 2. Minus 2 times x and minus 2 times minus 2. So we've done the red bits. Next is negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 2 is a plus 4. And close your brackets. Plus 14 equals 0. So you can see how have we got to this line here. Well, basically we just kept the negative in front, wrote this out properly, x minus 2 times x minus 2, and then focused on just multiplying out the brackets, keeping it inside a bracket, so that you see that goes to that. And to finish this kind of multiplying out, I'm going to make the negative 2x and the negative 2x into negative 4x. I'm now going to deal with a negative multiplier, and you would do this in the same case every time. Deal with the negative multiplier last. So I'm going to multiply the bracket through by negative 1. So leaving the x squared at the start, negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative 4 is plus 4x, and negative 1 times plus 4 is take away 4. Now the negative doesn't affect the 14, it's just the bracket, so plus 14 equals 0. I can now try and tidy this up, so x squared take away x squared, that goes to nothing, and 14 take away 4 is 10, so it's going to be 4x plus 10 is 0. If you subtract 10 from both sides here to get the x's and numbers on the other side, and then you can finish it off by saying negative 10 over 4, which simplifies down to negative 5 over 2. That could also be written as 2.5, negative 2.5. Okay, final example I'm going to give. So the pictures below of the same area in centimetres make up an equation and solve to find the dimensions. So because these two pictures have the same area, we can say that the area of this is equal to the other one, and that kind of sets up your equation. That area equals that area. Now the area of a rectangle is length times breadth, but in this case we've just got algebra, so it's going to be x times x plus 4. Now remember, when you're multiplying something that has more than one term, put it in brackets. Okay, so the x plus 4 is going to come in brackets, and you're going to write it like this: x times x plus 4, then you put your equals sign, and this area is length times breadth again, so it's x plus 2 times x plus 1. Now it doesn't really matter which way round the brackets were, it would still work out the same. Okay, so we've now got our equations to solve, just as before, and we'll try and work out what x is. Now bear in mind that x doesn't actually find the dimensions. The dimensions are the length and the breadth of each picture. Working out x would only give us that. We'd actually need to add 4 to get this, add 2 to x to get that, and add 1 to x to get this here. So bear that in mind at the end. We'll have to do that. Okay, so multiplying this bracket, x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is 4x, and that goes to that. Multiplying this bracket out, just as we've done before, x times x is x squared, x times 1 is x. Done it the other way around. So 2 times x and x here. This doesn't matter really, x times x is x squared. You can do x times 1 is x, 2 times x is 2x. I've just done it the other way around here for some reason. And 2 times 1 is 2. Now I'm going to tidy that bit up there to make it 3x. Just repeat the same line everywhere else and make the 2x plus x into 3x. If you deduct the x squares from both sides because they're the same value, so just get rid of them or take them away, you're going to get down to 4x equals 3x plus 2 just by taking these off each side. Finally, we try to get the x's all on one side, so take the 3x away, and that's going to give you 1x, and that equals 2. So the answer to the first part of the problem is x equals 2, but again, I have to work out the dimensions, make up an equation and solve it to find the dimensions. So let's have a wee look at that. Picture 1 was x by x plus 4, so that's length and breadth, 6 centimetres by 2, or 2 centimetres by 6 when x is 2. And the dimensions of the second one, if it's 2, it's going to be 4, and 2 plus 1 is 3, so 4 by 3, or 3 by 4, whichever way around you want to put it.